One of the most profound moments of humility in your story is you sitting down at that suicide hotline for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about following advice, right? I see everything people say, so I have a very vivid imagination. Everything you're talking about, I'm actually watching.
Oh, very
like
good.
I'm watching you work in the dark, like I'm watching your dad, you know, delivering fuel. This is a whole movie for me. But you know, talking about going to a country club for a month, it's a short amount of time until you realize I'm going every day of the week for 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm just having breakfast and then I'm getting up and I'm leaving because what am I even doing? But you're doing it because you're following the advice.
Right.
And then to sit down and do this suicide hotline for a year. Not like I did it for 4 weeks. I did it for 7 weeks. Because we got some people that they want advice, but they don't actually want to follow through with it for as long as it's going to take to actually have the moment that they want.
Right.
They have a timer going off in their head going, I did it for 7 weeks and nothing changed, so what's the big deal? So I just think there's a lot of humility in taking someone's advice and kind of killing your ego in the process. Shout out to Derek Gaunt for Ego, Authority, and Failure.
Yeah, Derek's a great guy.
That's a very, you have to be wired a certain way to get that done.
Interesting. Yeah, probably. And I've never really thought of myself as a patient person, but it does require patience.
Yes, sir.
And like maybe it's, I don't know, leaning into the process.
Yep.
And just letting the process work for you.
Yep.
The suicide hotline thing, that was pretty easy to stay there just because it pressed two buttons for me simultaneously. It was immensely satisfying to feel like you were making a difference in people's lives. Simultaneously, what made it a little bit easier to be there is I was there to learn. So if you're there to learn, then the frustrations are learning moments as opposed to frustrations. Like on a suicide hotline, most people get burned out. Mm-hmm. The gratification is insufficient if they're not also there to learn.
Right.
Like if you just go there to be selfless, the chances that you're going to get burned out really fast are really high.
Yep.
And I actually, for a variety of reasons, I ended up teaching there. And at the opening class that I taught, I would say, everybody here who's here to help people, raise your hand. And then I'd say, you are in a lot of trouble because it's hard to help people.
Yeah.
And it can burn you out.
Yep.
And I knew that if their primary motivation was to help, which is a great motivation, or if their only motivation, then the chances that they were going to get burned out because their desire to help when someone won't let you help them is incredibly disheartening.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted them to be aware of that. Understand, it's a great motivation. You are incredibly vulnerable. If your desire to help is so hard because you probably need the feedback that you helped.
So it sounds like helping is hurting the person that's trying to help.
It depends upon, it could be. You're very vulnerable. If you're completely altruistic, I got to make the world a better place. And the world does get a better place, but in many cases it's invisible. Mm-hmm. Or you don't feel it right away. I mean, and there's our society, American society, and we got all the same phrases everybody has because it's all human experience.
Yep.
But everybody's heard no good deed goes unpunished. Like if you're doing good because you want immediate gratification or immediate recognition for being good, you're going to feel like you're getting punished because you ain't going to do it. But if you're willing to just make a deposit in a karma bank and let it go,
then
pretty soon stuff starts coming back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.